And now it's time for the Business Owners Spotlight Series. Hey everybody, this is Kenya of 40 Entrepreneur Drive. This is going to be one of many videos in my series called B.O.S. Business Owners Spotlight Series. Now, some of these will be live and some of them will be pre-recorded. Today's video will be pre-recorded, and so without further ado, let me get to my guest. I'll be inviting a very special person on who is not only a entrepreneur, but a YouTube content creator. So make sure that you leave any comments and questions in the comment section below. And before we even get into it, take the time out right now to leave me a thumbs up. Every like on every video makes a huge difference. YouTube is an ocean of content creators. And every time you give me a thumbs up, it brings me a little closer to the surface so that people who are looking for content like me can find it a lot easier. If you haven't subscribed already, now would be a great time to do it. That way you'll be notified when I make more videos like this or when I go live. So hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Well, actually, I'll see you in a little while now. Hello, everybody. Welcome to 40 Entrepreneur Drive. My name is Kenya. Thank you for tuning in today's video. In today's video, I will be speaking to a boss. Now, this is the B.O.S. series in my videos, which means Business Owners Spotlight segment. I'm either going to be talking to local people here in Fort Worth who own small businesses, or maybe even a familiar face like you see today. Someone that I am featuring is not only a content creator here on YouTube, but an entrepreneur in her own right. My guest today is the Unspeakable. She works out of California. She is a multi-level creative with a focus on art, and she's got some other things to share with us. You can find her on YouTube. The YouTube channel name is The Unspeakable. You'll find the information as a link in the description box. You can also find her on Facebook. So without further ado, let me introduce my guest, the Unspeakable, speakable.
Hi, Kenya.
That probably won't be edited out.
I'm here.
All right. And so like a couple weeks ago, man, it's been a couple weeks already. A couple weeks ago, I did make a video with a short list of people that I personally want to talk to because they're content creators and also because they have some type of business going on the side where they are providing their own income. And that is why I put you on that list. And I'm very, very happy that you also reached back out to me to let me know that you're interested. And so let's talk about this multi-level creation and also I think multi-income, right?
Multi-income stream. How's that?
Okay, multi-income stream. That's what it's all about nowadays.
Well, yes, I remember a long time ago, I saw on some comedy show, two people going, how many part-time jobs do you have? How many part-time jobs do you have? So now part-time job is just income stream.
Oh, so it's been remarketed, remarketed.
It's been relabeled,
Wow.
rebranded, reintroduced. So
Wow, I did not think about it that way. I do art. My daughter does art. And when I saw what you do, which is kind of interesting, I decided to stick around. I leave comments, my own little personal brand of comments. And then from there on, I discovered that not only are you an artist, but you're kind of into a little bit more because you speak over your art and you talk about certain things. And that just lets people know a little bit more about you and some of your beliefs and philosophy. So tell us what those are, tell us about your art and tell us about who you are and what you do.
I began posting my art several years ago when I was injured. I do a lot of healing work, and I work specifically with ligaments and tendons in the body, and working really hard, and things happened. I got injured and I had some time off. And I thought to myself, well, how am I going to deal with this healing process? It was very difficult. So I decided to create every day. And I have been watching YouTube for years, many, many, many different creatives. And I was very inspired that you can learn a lot on YouTube, and you can just become inspired. So I decided to pour paint every day as a practice, whether I felt like it or not. Pour painting is a very contemporary art form. Some people say it's not, doesn't take a lot of skill. Anyone can do it. And it's true. I remember doing spin arts on the boardwalk as a child. And you pour the paint on, spin it, and then you have your little art. But what I learned about pour painting is there is a lot of responsiveness in the fluid aspect of the paint. So now going back into my multi-creative stream, a long time ago, I was a yoga teacher and a dancer, and I would spend hours moving my body on the cellular and fluid level. And that was just a stream of interests that I had gotten into. And I've done a lot of research on water and fluid intelligence, and I have a huge amount of interest and respect for that particular aspect of creativity. And here it was in painting. Instead of, going to a very specific point in my brain and trying to copy something that I see, here I am pouring paint, choosing the colors, choosing carefully the circumstances, and then noticing all the cofactors going in to creating a painting. And when you do that every day, day after day, you start noticing the subtleties that influence events. You can take the same paints, the same canvases, the same everything, and on a different day at a different moment, something totally different emerges. And very, to me, that makes me pay attention to things that aren't usually paid attention to. So that's what excited me about pour painting. Not the cells, not the patterns, not even making pretty things, but the excitement of recording all of those sub-factors, cofactors of the moment.
All the little nuances.
And becoming attuned to that, and not just becoming attuned to, what kind of paint it is, or I don't know, composition. Composition's important, because when you present a painting, it's like presenting a statement to the world. Just look at this. But when it hits their eyeballs, it's not like a written word where we have known associations. Everybody creates their own associations. And for me, that's a creative moment. And I love your comments, because you tell me your comment on what the thumbnail brought up. And then you watch the video and you tell me how you've changed your mind. And it's really quite delightful.
I'm surprised more people don't do that, because I know with art in general, at a first glance, you have a reaction. And then the longer you look at it and you think or maybe feel, then you might feel the same or you might feel different. So I was just like, nobody else.
Well,
but that's just me.
I have experienced that in many of the classes and teachings. Not only have I done dancing, I've done a lot of healing work and healing training. And I've taken many, many seminars and weeks and retreats and months of energetic and different streams of ancient wisdom healing. And I can go back and listen to those classes and hear something very different than when I first heard it, something I didn't hear before. And I think that really amazing abstract art does that for people. It's multi-dimensional. It has many levels in it. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's one-dimensional. It says what it says, and you go on. It's not that anything is worth more or less instantly, but it has the potential to carry deeper and deeper levels of information.
And you sound so well versed in it, as if you have done this your whole life. So have you always been an artist even before the injury and you started doing your art? Were you always doing some kind of
Oh, yeah.
art?
Oh, yeah. I've been doing art. I've been doing my doodle journals for a long time. And
Oh,
I danced for 25, 30 years, modern dance, all kinds of different styles of energetic movement and yoga, just listening to the rhythms in the body. And
so you
so I
went from moving your body to moving fluids
think,
on
well,
canvas.
well,
That's interesting.
your body is 70% water. So when you move your body, you're moving fluids.
Whoa. Yeah, 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 yeah.
But um, I don't
Fluid
think
intelligence.
I don't think I went from that, because all my life in my journals, I would write a few words and then I draw a little doodle scratch picture, because the moment is never totally expressible to me in words. So I think life itself is art. Life, the flowers blooming, the weather, everything that goes on in life, the biology of conception to death, it's all an art. It's all a huge art. Moving
Mm.
thing. So I just tune in and capture it right now in the last couple of years with fluid painting. It's not that I've just started one thing or stopped another thing. I just tune into different channels of the creative process of life.
Mhm. So how did you go from the creative part of it to the business part of this? Because you actually do hold classes in what you do. How did you go from
So,
creating it to showing other people how to create it?
um, because that's how you have to make a living in the world, and you do what you do, and you have to figure out, well, how are people going? How can I serve people with what I love? I have to live with what I love. If I live with what I don't love, I have a level of unhappiness. But when I live
Mm.
with what I love, then even if I'm working really hard and don't get enough sleep, I love it enough to carry me through all of that stress, shall we say. So finding what you love, and it's not that I love art, I just love the expression and the exchange with nature, that nature is art. I came out of nature. I have fluids in me. I have earth molecules in me. I have air molecules in me. I have all of nature in me. And nature is actually the unspeakabling. nature
Another
is
mind-blowing moment.
nature is Kenya-ing right now. So, and we're
Uh,
doing that together.
oh, there's a
And,
lot of Kenya-isms if people only knew. Yes, yes, yes. Um,
and so we are doing that together right now, and hopefully to create a spark for people just to notice how they do it in their own lives with people in their own homes and kitchens and neighbors. And we're all
mhm,
doing it all the time.
mm. How did you go from creating for yourself to helping others create in the capacity of being a businesswoman?
Well,
Other than we got to make money.
you have to make money, and my whole life is creative, and my whole life is part of nature. And so
Mm,
I have to make a living and be who I am. I don't really feel able to fit myself into some of the models that I've seen out there. I've done jobs, I've done them really well. The best jobs that I've done are things that I enjoy doing. And
mm.
um, they're
I
not
mean,
all,
yeah, because you could have gotten an art type of job, and that would have been just easy to just go to the job. But what made you to decide to do it as a person creating her own income? What made you to decide to go that route versus then getting a job to do it?
well, I have jobs and I do
Oh,
them part time. I do have some jobs, like the teaching job is a job at a local studio.
mm,
And it's rhythmic, it's monthly, it's steady. It's right now during COVID, it's canceled, but it's pretty rhythmic. I like a rhythmic life. It helps you get things done when things are done on a rhythm.
for what you do for your business, how much competition is there in what you do to make your living?
There's infinite competition. There's always someone better. There's always tons of people. There's always someone worse. So I don't really have to deal with that unless I'm at an art show and there's only so many spaces, that kind of thing. I don't do too many of those. I'm not really interested in hauling around stuff. I do sell my paintings online to whoever's interested. Right now, it's just through my YouTube channel, but I am working on a website and a small gallery and shop to sell my artwork. My artwork is based in the idea of talisman, of sending out a piece of work that carries the energy and the spirit in which it was created. And all good artwork is that, in a way. When you send artwork, you send a piece of yourself. And I send a piece of the energy that I'm working with, the prayer that I'm praying, the blessing that I'm calling in, the frustration that I'm unraveling. It's a process. And some of that, when I am very clear, gets carried into the painting and it goes with the painting. You know, and some days that works very well, and other days it's just okay. So as an artist, you have to work through the just okay times, and then you get your peaks, and then you have your valleys, and eventually you have your valleys are raised up to the level of your previous peaks, and you start really offering people the best of you. And that's what I'm doing. I started this when I was injured. I was in a really bad mood, and there was not a good prognosis, and I wasn't getting much help from the system. Workers' comp is not a helpful system. They tend to blame you for being injured. And so I know a lot about the body, and fight and flight and stress and fear and depression inhibits the healing response. When you're in fight or flight or in stress mode or depressed mode, the chemicals in your body are very different than when you're in a hopeful, open, flowing state. So I started pouring painting to actually activate that state in my body every day.
I'm going to tie that, what you just said, into another question as far as the healing part of what you do. For your entrepreneurship. But before then, I'm going to ask, and this can go for the art or for the healing part, what stage would you consider yourself in as far as your business? Would you consider yourself in the startup stage? Are you growing and scaling? Or are you pretty much where you want to be and you're maintaining? That can be for the art side or for the healing side.
Well, the healing side I've been in for 35 years. And I have to say that I'm always growing. The healing to me, and I've had different parts where I kind of plateau and do a particular kind of work for several years in a row. And the art is like that too. You get to a certain place, you sell, you develop, but then you can't get too comfortable because, one, the world is always moving, time is always changing, your body is moving, your consciousness is waking up to new and different things all the time. And we are in an extraordinarily unprecedented time, in that we are all connected in a very particularly difficult and yet at the same time minute situation. This virus is minute and it's changing the entire world. So we are having to become conscious of what is tiny inside of us that can change the world. Daily moment to moment, what we think, how we breathe. And so I'm always in a place of growth right there. And I've had many healing layers of business in the past. I've never really sold my art until, I think it was a year ago, I started selling much of it. But I've never really, I've sold dance classes, and I've sold dance performances, and I've sold plenty of seminars and body work sessions and healing sessions, just energetic healing sessions. But I haven't sold a painting. I've never been interested in stuff. Painting was
that actually does lead me to the question that I was going to ask when you were talking about healing works best when you are stress free. When you have less stress, your body's actually able to heal better. You do energy work.
Yes.
How difficult is that for you as a practitioner? How easy or hard is it? What is the difficulty level for the person receiving it? Because I'm assuming it's based off of your energy level and their energy level, and having to balance that out. How difficult is that to do that type of work?
Well, it's very not difficult, but energy consuming. I am so hungry when I do energy work. That's how I know. And what happens is you tune in to the subtle energies and your own anchor. So I know you do Bible readings. So
Mm-hmm.
I assume that you anchor yourself in a Christian reality of compassion, love, and the heart of Christ.
Mm-hmm.
And I anchor myself, I would say, in a parallel reality. I don't use those exact words, but I do have a great love of Jesus in my heart. I was raised Catholic, but I also have a great love and respect for Buddha, and a great love and intimate understanding of the word Allah. And I have a great love for, uh, Shiva and
And we
Shakti.
talked about Sufism too before,
Well,
which I don't know which part that
Sufi,
belongs to.
Sufism is a branch of Islam.
Okay, okay, yeah, I remember you mentioned that.
If you, there are Sufis who use another religion as the ground level, and the ground level is, I think religions have been good for a couple of things. One is your relationship to yourself is mediated by the divine and the divine words in that religion. Your relationship to others is part of the code of different religions, how a society moves, and how you respect yourself and others in the company of other people. And that's like the 10 Commandments. And every religion has that. Every religion has a code of conduct or behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And most in the ancient ways, I think those codes were developed so that the human being can relax, survive, thrive, and then have enough energy to go into the deeper levels of their being and realize the truth of who they are. And I know in the Bible it says, "Be still and know that I am God."
Mm-hmm.
And how you say those words in your own heart changes everything. So if I say that or think that before I do a painting, it's very different than like, okay, I got 20 minutes to go and we're going to do a really nice poppy painting today. And I do both. It depends on the day. But prayer, having that background, religions gave us a background, but now we are pushed forward into this new reality, and the words of the background need to be interpreted in our own hearts in a way that can bring us light, love, and joy going forward into this new reality. There's no back. We're not going back. I'm sorry. We
Mm-hmm.
forward.
Yeah, we gotta hit that point too of how do we move forward with this new reality. Before I get there, I want to ask real quick with either side, the art side or the energy work side, do you choose to structure yourself in any particular type of way, like sole proprietor, partnership, LLC, S corp? Do you do anything with that, or is it more, I don't know, just kind of your own? What would they call it? Freelancing or gigs or contract, or like, are you structured a particular way? And if
Well,
so, why did you choose it?
right now I'm a sole proprietor and I'm also a gigger,
Uh,
basically. Um, and I don't know how it's going forward, what will be the most beneficial tax wise. So a lot of that has to do with taxes,
mm-hmm.
you know. And once you start making a certain level of income, you have to have a certain relationship with the government.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have, I have my jobs, I have my contract. I do a lot of consulting and contract. A lot of energy healing and healing work is consulting work,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
And that ties me into the next question. Do you participate in ongoing professional training, or do you need to keep up with like certification or anything like that for what you
Oh yeah.
do?
Oh yeah. I've been doing that for decades.
So it's
And
ongoing.
my ongoing training this spring was canceled, so I miss it very much. I'm still, I mean, for decades, I can just run through years of stuff, but I was going to take my advanced level Qigong for healing training this spring, which I do every spring, and it was canceled. So um,
Mhm.
I do my own training right now, but hopefully they'll have it in the fall. I love checking in and staying current. And if I get really tired of one particular form, I'll move to a complementary modality to open up my brain a little bit. The same with the art. Um, right now, for the last 2 years, I've been in pour painting. Before that, I was experimenting with digital. And pour painting is very intense for the environment. It involves a lot of plastic. Acrylics paints are basically plastic. And I do think about that. I try to be as frugal as possible. Using up all my supplies 2 or 3 times because it can be an incredibly wasteful form of art. And I think that it is a fad and it will die out within 10 years because of the way it hits the environment. So I'm doing it now and slowing down a little bit and thinking more about digital and paper. And so then again, I'm evolving in my art and I'll just take more classes either online or self-taught in whichever direction I want to go. And art is free that way. I mean, if you're dealing with people's health, it needs to be in a community certified kind of situation because we're all growing together and we need, mostly you get certified to not do any harm, to go deeper levels and learning where and how to keep yourself and other people very safe and moving forward in the healing process. Art, you can kind of go all over the place. And, if I do a painting that no one likes, no one is really harmed, you know. So I love the idea of self-education in art. Although, in the 80s, forever ago, 40 years ago, I took some art classes.
So with the healing work, you have the investment, you have to invest a lot of yourself as far as your own energy and keeping yourself safe, like you said, as well as the other person. And on the art side, not only is there that environmental factor to keep in mind, but that's money that you have to invest to actually purchase that. Is it a huge overhead, or is it just come about stuff, or is it something that is difficult to budget when it comes to maintaining the art part with the paints and other equipment?
Well, the art, I started slowly. I remember coming back from said healing training, advanced training work 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And I just drove by Walmart, pulled in the parking lot and bought all the stuff I needed to do a pour painting. And I didn't have anything for a pour painting. And you don't need that much to start a pour painting. You need a tinfoil pan, a canvas, some glue, and some craft paint. So for $50, I did my first painting.
Well, my daughter being the junior artist that she is, I know depending on what type of medium that you use, art supplies can be expensive. They can be very expensive.
Yes, I agree with you. I very much agree with you. And so what I've done over the 2 years is added as I went along, and I've invested quite a bit. And right now with the shutdown, I'm just working off my supply here. And if I run out of a color, that's that.
Mm-hmm. What do you want people to know about your business that they may not realize? That could be for the art side or the healing side. What do people, because I'm pretty sure people have assumptions about what you do, but what do people not realize that you wish more people would know about the type of work that you do?
Well, all of the work that I do is to bring whoever is in front of me to a deeper place inside of themselves, to a calm nervous system that is less on the stress level, more on the healing level, because when you're in that place, you're more of who you are. And that's what I have to share with the world. And all of my healing work is to bring people through the rough spots in the health process and to activate the healing process in the body. And the art has activated the healing process in my body. So I would like to activate the creative process inside of other people. You don't have to do a painting. Often when I'm making guacamole, I feel like I'm making a painting. Or if I'm making my coffee, it's a painting. So that if you can be creative in what you do, you are open. So all of my work is to, one, be anchored in that reality that opens me inwards to the goodness, the truth, and the most sublime and powerful energetics of being fully alive and being human. And when I'm open to that, I can share that with someone else. If I'm not open to that, I could talk about it, but you can't share it by talking about it. You have to share that by being it. And so that is what all of my work is about, being whole. Health comes from wholeness. Creativity comes out of wholeness as something new.
Do you give yourself a title or label? And if so, what would that be? Are you the owner, founder, manager, or are you just a hustler? Entrepreneur, contractor, freelancer, gigster, hobbyist, artist, creator, or educator? So do any of those titles apply to you? None of them? Or do you have your own je ne sais quoi
I'll
that you
go
would refer to yourself?
for je ne sais quoi. I actually have not thought of myself in those terms at all.
What?
I think of myself in terms of someone who does this, who carries this in the world. And part of it, you're helping me, because as a business person, you kind of have to put on one of those mantles. And I haven't, I've left it in my closet. It's like, I guess I'm the owner or the creator. I'm the creator owner.
Do you find that labels sometimes hinder people because you feel like you have to fit into a certain type of category or define that thing, or you just do what you do? I mean, is it a hindrance? Is it a help, or is it just take it or leave it?
So far, it's been a hindrance, but now once you step into a certain threshold, it becomes an empowerment. So when you're ready for it, then you take the one that's the most truthful and the most descriptive of who you are and what you do. So I am a creator, I am an owner, and I am a healer. I do identify with healer, but that's even difficult because truly I am not the healer. I am the person that facilitates the healing response inside of you.
I need to add that to the list. Facilitator.
Okay.
Facilitator.
Teacher. I have been a teacher. I mean, I taught dance from very, very long time ago. So teaching comes pretty naturally to me. Although I don't like it because I have to talk so much. I would rather get in a room and do with people. That's why I like my art classes. I talk for an hour and then they do. I let them do it. They do whatever they want. I like it. Yeah.
Before the current situation, we'll just call it pre-Rona. Pre-Rona, what was the minimum amount of time that you had to invest in order to reach your particular profit goals, whether it was with the art or with the energy work? How much time did you have to invest daily or weekly to reach your level of comfort of profits?
Well, sometimes more and sometimes less. Basically, I go on my needs and what's available and what the need is coming back at me. So sometimes I have more clients than I want, but I feel the need and I do the service. And then I save a little money and then I can lay back and do a little less, in the future. So it's very rolling with me. And that's actually very good for right now because the rolling part, things are having to change. Direct healing work on the body is not as much in demand right now at all. And I feel like the creative aspect is good for people, good to share that with people right now. I would like to get more involved with selling the artwork at this point. And that's one of my next steps, actually, is getting the website and putting the artwork up for sale and see what happens. Yeah.
So I know that you go ahead. Sorry.
For your question, it's rolling. You get to a certain level of profits. And, you know, you can always do more.
It
Always,
goes back
always.
to that rhythm that you were talking about. I like
Yeah.
that rhythm and the peaks and the valleys. So I know that you have to obviously go someplace to teach a class, but in general, what is your setup? Do you have a dedicated space for what you do? Do you prefer to do it out of your home, or does it vary?
It varies. And I do have a small space on my porch. That's my art studio. It's a
Mm.
very small table. So, and then I have paintings all around the house. I have different corners with healing books from the different traditions I've studied in. I have just boxes, things are organized but chaotic at the same time. So I have a dedicated space and it's fluid.
And it's your own space. It's not a rented space. You work with your own surroundings, your own environment.
What do you mean? Oh,
Like rented studios, some people rent or they
no,
have co-working spaces.
I work on my porch, and right now my healing space is online, and I do some work in a particular space that I've been using for a long time.
All right. As
Yeah.
far as business tools, do you have dedicated business tools like a specific phone line or a specific account that is only for that, or specific, I don't know, business cards, or let's see, I think I've got on here social media presence. So some people like to mix it up and just because it's more of a hobby, I guess. Some people don't have dedicated things, but do you have dedicated things that are the on only? The on only, you only use this space or this credit card or this particular t-shirt or whatever? Do you have dedicated business tools? And if so, what are they, if you don't mind sharing? And if not, why?
Well, I have media like it, phone line dedicated to my business, to my healing business. I have and I am a little fluid. It is dedicated and it was gotten for that reason, but because I'm just myself, I use it
Oh,
sometimes, you know. But I also have a computer space dedicated for that. I have for me clothing. When I do painting and artwork, I do certain kind of clothing. When I do healing, I do other kind of clothing. So um, that just changes my attire. Believe it or not, my name changes with what I do. So people who I do healing with do not know me as the unspeakable. And my name changes with a lot of things.
so you do have dedicated tools and
But
equipment.
it's dedicated energetically, yes. So I
Ah,
do have a I have a Facebook page for my artwork, and I'm still like I've done 40 years of healing training, and I'm still integrating that verbally into something that is what I do because I don't parrot anyone. And oftentimes people take a workshop, they go off and they put their name on what they do and they say, I do that, I learned this, I do that. But what I've done over the years is learned what I've learned and then synthesized it through my own inner work into what works for me and I can transmit authentically. So it's not a lot of what I do is I've learned from other people, but it has to been digested and integrated by what I do. And so I am in the process of working on that text, that copy for a website.
all right.
And
All right.
that's the next level of dedicated space. I also have dedicated bodywork cards and dedicated art cards.
What would you consider your best business resource as far as making your business better and also reaching out to your potential clients and customers? What is your best resource? Like, for example, I made a video a while ago on the Small Business Development Center. I had no idea that they existed. They're right here in Fort Worth. And for anybody wanting to learn about business and develop themselves and LLCs and all this other stuff, you go there for free classes. That's my best resource. I was doing online stuff like a year before I knew about that. And I wasted so much time and money. I wish I would have known about them before I started. So do you have a best resource that you go to? Is it more like word of mouth or just within your community of artists or your own community of healers and coaches? What is your best business resource? that helps you maintain?
Right now, it is a lot of, it is a lot of word of mouth, and my colleagues and people that I have studied and worked with. I love the idea of you finding your small business resource center. I would love to find one of those around here, because I do need guidance with that aspect of it. I'm really much more of the creative end of this business, and sometimes I would love a business partner who is great in tech and business, and I would provide the content and they could provide everything else, you know?
I'm
And
right
I
there with
I do dream about that because I have a lot of content, and I am slowly plugging away at learning the business ins and outs on the computer, in the world of taxes and licenses and marketing and branding and all of that. My best brand for myself is to give the best of who I am in every situation.
do you think creativity is a help or a hindrance to being business savvy? But that's not really the right question. It's because business savvy is a skill and creativity is a skill too. So it's not like one or the other. It's just how do you balance those out, being creative and being business savvy? I think I like that better as a question.
Well, business, they come from different parts of your awareness. So creativity, and it means different things to different people also. So you may have a proclivity toward a particular skill. Like you may be very visually, have a visual acuity and be able to see things, and you could develop that skill into a beautiful create painting or photography business, or you could turn that into architecture or whatever. But someone who doesn't have that particular proclivity may be very good with numbers and be able to move number columns and Excel spreadsheets around, and that's their creativity. So they kind of bleed over, but finding out what is your particular affinity, what is easily arises in you, and then you cultivate it. Like you can't grow a pineapple up north. You just can't. So if you have up a
The right
northern soil,
environment.
don't try and grow pineapples. Try and grow what grows in your soil. So see what
Mhm.
comes out of you that grows well, and find what you need from someone else that grows well in that person. And that's what collaboration is about, and partnership.
There you go.
Yeah, what I have that's good may help what you have that's good. And together we can grow into something stronger.
Collaboration and partnership. That is a business resource right there. You hit the nail on the head. Business resource, collaboration, and partnership. What is the most difficult part of your business or your least favorite thing?
That my least favorite thing is the accounting and the numbers.
Oh,
Always the numbers. I want to do the healing work. I want to do the creative work. I want to give the guidance, the wisdom, the light, the love that I have in my heart. I want to receive sustenance for that, and to have to account with all that is crazy. The
right.
marketing, I really love to be a word of mouther. I really love to. That's why I do my YouTube videos. I'm out there for you, but I'm not, I'm not hustling anyone. I have what I have to offer, and I sometimes you do have to hustle. I find that the business world is very aggressive, and um, I don't know that it's a necessary aggression. Yes, there's a little bit of hustle and spark and life, and you need, but I'd rather save that for my healing and creative work and let someone else who loves that do that part.
What has been, or have you made any big mistakes in your line of work? And if so, were you able to correct it? And how did you recover so that you didn't lose any business? What has been any of the, name a mistake if you have, that you've made, and were you able to redeem yourself?
Well, mistakes, energetic mistakes, there's no, the redemption is only moving forward. And sometimes I have worked on people where I had a little voice say, don't work on this person. And I worked on them anyway. And it never works out well. Either they don't get what they want, or they're a lot of trouble for me, or they blame me for their problems. Things like that happen. And so energetically listening deeply into the very subtle voices inside of you. Your instincts know. And with the artwork, I have had some inner prompts to, market myself differently. And just because it's not my favorite, I haven't paid attention to those. So I do need to really develop my marketing on the artwork, and I need to pay attention to those inner prompts. Other than that, you live and learn.
How do you manage your energy levels? Do you take vitamins? Do you take supplements? How much sleep do you get? And in general, how do you take care of yourself so that you can take care of your business?
Well, for me, it's about adapting to the situation. I have a very sensitive nervous system. I can work really hard and sleep a little, but I can do that for months and then I'm exhausted. So if I need to rev up and do that, I can, but I know I need recovery time. And there's often recovery time just day to day, like work 3 days, take a day off kind of thing. I also try and allow myself 10 hours in the bed every night. I don't sleep 10 hours, but I allow myself 10 hours. I'm not very good. I do my emails in bed, and I read in bed, and I write in bed, and I think about things in bed. But still, I allow myself 10 hours in the bed, and then I get about 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and I need that to be good. I'm a very much of a supplemental person. I don't eat sugar. I don't drink caffeine. I eat fruit. I'm not like a total purist, but I've tried to energetically streamline my life. Yes. To support myself, to give the best. If you want to be your best, you have to give yourself the best that you need. We don't need excessive amounts of nutrients, excessive amounts of sleep. That's aggression in another direction. What we need is what we need, and calibrate what you need. Don't take more than you need, but don't take less. Finding that day to day and balancing nutrients. I need more nutrients when I'm out and activated with more people. I need more sleep so that I can be in a better mood. If I get, blood sugar down, sleep down, I can be pretty grouchy. And that's not what a healer needs to be.
Yeah, don't come work on me if you ain't right. If you ain't right, don't laying at her hands from the grouchy woman. No, thank you. They say don't let angry people make your food too. Have you heard of that?
Yes. Well, have you seen that movie, Like Water for Chocolate? It's from the 70s or 80s. It was a book too.
I've heard of it, but I hadn't seen it.
Yes. Well, energetically, every thought you think goes out to the world. Everything you touch. That's why what you give to the world is not what you think or what you have a degree in. It's what you are. What you are is what you give.
Intention, the power of intention.
But intention is your mind, your being, the power of your being. Who are you right now? That's what you're giving. You're not giving me what you thinking you want to give me. You're giving me who you are. And it's precious. It's divine. It's blessed. And that's what we want to give each other.
How much free time? How do you balance your free time? How much free time do you have between the time that you have to invest in making a living and just time for yourself?
Well, I have to say, one of the places where I used to work, we used to hand out questionnaires after their session, and there were kind of wellness questionnaires. And one of the questions was, what do you do with your free time? And this guy wrote back, I love this. He said, it's all free time, isn't it? And I said, yeah, it is.
Wow. Yeah.
So some of my free time, I work my tail off. And some of my free time, I just sit on the porch.
Yeah, I need to balance that part out myself. I have a lot of free time, but every free moment I'm using it on working. I don't know if that's healthy. I feel good about it. I feel like I'm in the zone and I'm passionate, but I'm like, I never actually have free time because I'm using all my time. So like that guy said, it's all free time. It's just what are you choosing to do with it?
Yeah. And if you to sleep. You need to sleep. And so you go, oh, thank you. I get to sleep. How wonderful.
Oh, speaking of time, if there were magically 1 hour added to each day, what would you do with that time? That's an extra hour a day, an extra 7 hours a week, and an extra 28 hours a month, which is almost a day and 4 hours. If you had one extra hour a day, what would you be doing with it?
I can barely imagine that, but probably the same thing I'm doing. I think I'm doing what I need to do. Really, what I want to do is hire a tech person. That's what I would do. If I hired a tech person, I would have that extra hour a day. I would have that extra 7 hours a week. I would have that. So right now, I don't know. That question doesn't compute. It goes inside.
She said does not compute.
I don't know. Extra hour. Okay.
You don't do a lot of marketing and advertising now, but what types of self-marketing and advertising would you like to do? Or would you prefer just to have, like you said, hire somebody who that's their specialty and have them do it for you? Or do you have anything in mind as far as putting yourself out there more?
Well, the last one, definitely. I would prefer to work with someone who's a marketer or business person. However, I just keep doing what I do. And I will keep making videos. And as I make my videos and as I change and challenge myself in my work, my videos will change. So my videos will be a public record. So if people want to see who I am and what I do, there's that. There is not much about the healing so far yet in the videos. And healing is such a presence-orientated process that speaking about it for me, it's kind of shreds it. And so I haven't done a lot of marketing on the healing yet.
Do any of these sound like something that you would be interested in? I've got marketing agencies, Craigslist, Angie's List, Thumbtack, other types of professional directories, newspaper, radio, billboard advertising, business card flyers, and handbills. Are those any of those something that you have already worked with or will plan to be working with for marketing and advertising?
Well, I've actually worked with a lot of those things in the past through my life. I mean, different things. When we did dance shows, we did all of the above, newspapers, flyers, radio, TV. We did things like that. But right now, I don't think TV and radio are it. I do think podcasts are it. I think in those terms, but I'm not sure what's going to come out of me. I could do a podcast. I could write an ebook. I could, the next step for me is my webpage will be my next art marketing event, and that I'll be working on that in the next few months. So getting my webpage up and running.
That would be cool. You have the voice for it. You have a nice calm demeanor and nice calm flow and vibe. And I like that. I like listening to you speak over your art. I know some people might just like going into the channel and looking at the videos for the art, but I think it's a nice little mesh of watching it develop and then hearing something, the soothing voice of the unspeakable.
Yes.
Educating and entertaining the people, educating and entertaining the masses.
Actually, when I started, I didn't speak at all. And that was my name is The Unspeakable. It came from an idea that art conveys something that cannot be spoken, of course. So, and then I became the unspeakable, and then I wanted to speak. So I am not the unspeakable. The art is the unspeakable. But now I have that name. And, names are like dresses. You can take it off and put on a different one if you
want. Wow. The current state of social distancing and the impact that it has on either side of your business or one of your businesses, how is it going to go from this point forward? What types of changes do you need to make or foresee? And just how are you going to be able to conform to the new norm moving forward?
I don't know. I know everything is changing. Definitely with bodywork and healing, I haven't been doing as much, although I've been doing a lot of the work on my own and the artwork on my own. No, last summer I had an art show at the library. That's not happening this year. Coffee shops are not open. So everything is going to have to be online right now. And I don't know how it's going to open and evolve, except for me, more online work right now. That's what I'm doing right now. That's why I'm here with you.
Is it practical for you to be able to do teaching online? Because I know that they have like webinars, and as long as somebody has a camera, just like you or me here now, you could teach people. But is that like more impersonal, or would that even work? What?
Well, I mean, the art studio that I work at, they do have boxes for pickup and then a class online using the supplies that people pick up. So that's local. But with pouring, I would have to go down and make the pour paints and the mediums and see how many people would do that. It's definitely possible. I haven't done that yet. It depends on how long this goes on for. It does go on for months and months. I might consider doing that. There are other things, you can do healing work online. You can teach. People have all kinds of web seminars and things like Facebook groups. I'm not that adept with doing things live online, and part of it is the Wi-Fi connection here. I've got to get a stronger Wi-Fi connection. I'm not that adept at doing live events, so that might be a next step for me, is getting the Ethernet connection and getting a stronger Wi-Fi connection to do things live, because you have to do live to teach like that. Or you can pre-record a class and put that out.
Yeah, they do. They have a lot of pre-recorded courses, a lot of courses, and it's the same thing. You either pay a subscription or you pay for that one time, and then you're able to get access. Who makes up those boxes?
At the art studio, some of the teachers that work there, the full-time people. I'm a part-time person there. So
but that's something that you do as well, or could do, right? As far as your branding?
I could, but I don't. As far as my branding, no. As far as working with the studio, yes. I mean, I don't. It's really strange, but I don't take pour painting so seriously. I take it very, very lightly. Pouring plastic onto canvas as something that you can do to help yourself. So I'm trying to integrate how everything that you do can help yourself. And that's what I have to teach people. The pour painting is a delightful aspect of it, and I can teach that. And I might do that.
Some people, their main purpose of their channel is to sell a product. They're doing something on, they're making content, but like the underlining, the foundation of it is, hey, this is my product. I'm, showing you how to do this, and now you can do it by this thing. And I mean, that could be a possibility, is the unspeakable pour paint kits. I'm just saying.
No, I'm not going that direction.
She said no. She said
well, I've thought about this. I mean, I am not interested in selling paint.
Yeah, you did say that.
Absolutely, you can go anywhere and get paint.
Yeah, but it won't be your paint. I want your paint, then. I want your paint.
I am not interested. I don't think paint is the future. I think paint is the past. Digital is the future. I think we have to stop. Really, at this moment, I'm working off of old inventory. I'm questioning if I will ever purchase paint again, because the stopping moment in our minds. We have to examine what we're doing. How much plastic and paint do I throw out? How many paintings does someone need? Yes, people need the energy of ritual. We need to give and exchange our energy with each other. We will still buy clothes. We will still buy jewelry. We will still buy house furnishings. But we may have to really examine how much, and just pushing products out into the universe, to me, is not a sustainable way to live. What's sustainable is what excites you. Painting has excited me. And if painting excites you, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it, but I'm not pushing excessive desire for things, because we need to balance what excites us with what is viable for the environment, and also with being able to be excited but not having to grab and own everything. We have to really look at exactly what we need and what we don't need, and stop with the excess. We have an excessive
Yes.
it's an aggressive consumption. It's not working. And I think part of this time is to stop and look at that. So I'm not pushing that anyone else do what I do. What I'm giving is my inspiration to do what you do really well.
Speed round. From this point on, it's all fun and fast, quick questions.
Okay.
First thing that comes to your mind. Favorite foreign place to visit?
I would like to go to Bhutan.
Last book that you've read or recommendation?
Well, I have the Hidden Secrets of Water in my bed right now. I'm looking at it.
Funniest thing that has ever happened to you?
Every day I wake up, the first thing in the morning, I wake up, I pour water in the coffee cup, turn around, move my arm, and the coffee cup falls on the ground.
Oh, no!
Here we go again.
Whoa. Worst advice that someone ever gave you?
Just follow your heart.
Best advice that someone ever gave you?
Just follow your heart.
Girl, boo. What does retirement look like for you?
It looks like a birthday. I'm just another marker, and then I go forward.
Okay. What is your positive affirmation, mantra, prayer, or your thing that you go to that helps ground you, or do you have one?
Oh, I have a lot of them. A lot. The one that grounds me the most is the opening ayat in the Quran, the Fatiha. But I also have a Jesus prayer from when I was a little kid. And I have the most basic one is thank you. Thank you.
Wow. I believe that is all the questions that I have, unless there's something else that you would like to add. That's all I've got. But are there any parting words that you have?
That was a lot of words.
You want to make sure you get it all out your system.
Thank you.
Let's see. We were talking about YouTube in specific and how hard it is to be a content creator. And some people get it. Some people just jump right on it and they go viral, and how easy it is to do that because you're following trends and you're doing what's popular. And why don't we just go the easy way? And after a while, you don't want to follow the flow of water down. You want to go up because it helps you to
challenge yourself.
Yeah, challenges yourself, and you want to be, where was it?
Well, growth is not comfortable. So following trends and following what's popular just diminishes the strength, the inner strength that you have to grow into new things. And so it's like eating sugar. Eating sugar actually inhibits your digestive system because you don't need to digest sugar. It just goes right into your bloodstream and gives you energy. So that whole intelligence of digestion is not used. And if you don't use something like a muscle or a skill, it doesn't get developed.
Wow.
I'm using my YouTube channel to stay with my creativity and to listen to my inner intuition and develop and not follow the trends so much and be able to maintain a steadiness coming from an inner source and not guided by an outer source of easy money, easy possibility, but becoming a true and complete human being, and that being my source.
I found it. As soon as you said that, I found it. Having a fully complete human experience. Yes. While giving your gift, which is you, to the world.
Yes.
That takes work. I don't want to work. I just want the money. Don't you just want the money? Let's just do it for the money.
Well, I'll take a big chunk of money, sure.
But then after that, then what? Right?
Well, then I'll take a nap. And then, and then help pour a painting and do some healing.
Yeah, then you have to go back to something meaningful. Yeah. Thank you very, very much. Thank you very, very much for taking this time out with me. I learned a lot about you. I learned so much about you, so much more than I could ever learn in a 3-minute video. We talked about that too. How what we put out on YouTube, this is the highlight reel. This is the edited version of who we are. Who we are off the camera is so different, and not that different, but it's incomplete. It's an incomplete story. So I appreciate being able to see just a wee bit more of who this mystery lady is. And
Thank
uh,
you. Thank you. I appreciate you and you pulling this out of me, because I would never sit down and talk to YouTube for 20 or 30 minutes.
ah,
So, yes, I've really enjoyed this, and it's given me some thoughts for moving forward into my business practices and expanding and growing.
I really do appreciate it. And for anybody watching, please, please take some time to leave a comment, leave a question. I'll try to make sure that I get back to you as soon as possible. At this point, this ain't my video. It's our video. It's our
It is
video.
our video.
And
Yes.
and yeah, part of the point of this whole series is, I was telling you before, I want to bring more credibility to this channel. I mean, yeah, I do want to talk about my own experience with entrepreneurship and how I'm hopefully slowly leaving my current wage earning position into being more self-sustaining for myself. But alongside that, there I can learn from other people. People can learn from me. We can learn from each other. And I'm hoping that the more people that I can bring on to share their particular experiences, what they're doing, what they stopped doing, what they're going to be doing, can help us all. Because from this point on, the game has changed. We can't just do things the way we used to anymore. I think multiple income streams or multi creation levels. I think that's the wave of the future. You're going to have to be able to do a little bit of everything, because just depending on one thing, putting your eggs in one basket, is that old model is not working. That's one thing that we've got to change, is learn how to be more self-sustaining, and also being able to feeling whole, feeling apart, feeling there's so much more to this, just chasing the money, chasing the check,
Yeah.
and the
And
why.
the solution for the difficulty of these times is not outside of ourselves, it's inside ourselves. We have to pull something new outside of ourselves. And that's why practicing something like painting or cooking, creating something new, gets you used to pulling something new outside of yourself. So
Mm,
I love this, the idea of this series. You are now interviewing people and connecting in a new way. It's not just Kenya on the
mm.
on chat.
So I'm gonna pull out what I got. You pull out what you got. You pull out what you got, and we put it all together and see what we got.
That's right. That's right.
All right. On that note, I
Okay.
will see you in your next video. And I guess you can see me in my next video. And for everybody else, check her out. I mentioned the channel name again. I will give it one more time. I am speaking with the Mystery Lady, also known as the Unspeakable, who can be found on the YouTube channel, The Unspeakable. And let's see, you can also find her on Facebook. If you would like to communicate with her or reach out to her, the best way to do it, leave a comment on one of the videos, and also check out her About Me page on her YouTube page. Go to the About Me section. There will be an email address there. Don't forget to like this video if you have not done so already. Please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell. Share this out so that more people will be aware of what's going on with this series. And if they are interested, they can possibly participate. Thank you all very much. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Support the channel by letting the ads play. Follow me on social media for bonus content and exclusive deals. Leave a thumbs up or down for the videos. Express yourself in the comments section. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell to stay current on the channel. Watch one of my playlists or one of these featured videos. And if you want to show monetary support for this channel, check out my Patreon link in the About Me page. See you next time.